Welcome viewers to the announcement of the top 6 in the CFO competition, made up of two categories. The top 6 in the global competition and the top 6 in the national junior competition. Before I start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Johnny Eliades and I've been honored and privileged to be part of this competition since last year. Last year I took part in this competition as the MC, and it was an amazing experience for me on how I learned from these youngsters coming from all over the world to participate in a competition in solving corporate problems. Problems that I think at times maybe the best companies in the world wouldn't be able to solve. And these students came up with solutions and innovative ideas. It was very exciting. But today, I've got two great guests with me that I want to introduce as we announce the top 6. First, I would like to introduce Professor Elmarie Sadler, Executive Dean at UNISA and the Global Head and Awards Presenter of the competition.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm very excited to be part of this wonderful competition.
Thank you very much. And second, I would like to introduce Professor Peliwe Lolwana, Chair of QCTO and the Chief Judge of the CFO Junior National Competition.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited also to be here.
This is very exciting. We're going to take a break now, but please don't go anywhere because we're about to announce the top 6 of this competition. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
All right, perhaps we should start with where the idea was born. In 2014, we set up the CFO case study competition effectively to create an aspiration, to create that dream as a platform for young people in the area of accounting and finance. If you ask the average young person, you're studying accounting and finance at varsity or as part of a professional qualification, what do you hope to become? A vast majority would tell you, I want to become a finance director of a top listed company. So the CFO is that rallying designation which represents the aspirations of many young people who are doing accounting and finance in terms of what they want to become in the future, and hence the name. If you look at the actual design of the product, most people would have the mistaken belief that it is mainly accounting and finance. Essentially what we do is we pick up a real-life company that is faced with a range of challenges. These challenges often would be threats that the board has to deal with. It would be opportunities that display commercial acumen in terms of how the board can exploit those opportunities. It could be fundamental weaknesses that make it difficult for the company to move forward in terms of the strategic aims. Solving real-world challenges today, it requires some degree of integrated knowledge. So actually what we do is, on the basis of these opportunities, threats and weaknesses that this company is faced with, we actually go deep into their curriculum, identify all the principles, rules and conventions, data that we could construct to mirror and reflect what this company is faced with today or what they may have faced with in the past. But we construct this data, both qualitative and quantitative, in such a way that to be able to unpack this data, you will need to bring to bear your knowledge of economics, your knowledge of marketing, your knowledge of corporate governance, your knowledge of risk management, your knowledge of strategic management. Obviously, given that it is a finance-oriented case study competition, you will often find that about 40% of the knowledge and skills that you're going to need to actually do well in this competition would come from the 4 broad strands of accounting and finance. That will be taxation, that will be financial accounting / reporting, that will be management accounting as well as auditing. So we're trying to hone that business acumen, that leadership acumen, that decisiveness in this young people to be sure that they can grapple with this data, remain technically savvy as it is expected from a chief financial officer, but be able to go beyond the technical savvy and look at the commercial side of the business, the strategic side of the business, where the board is short-term, long-term, external issues based on internal issues, to try and give them this rounded understanding. I happen to have been a student leader on one side. I'm actually a lecturer currently. I happen also to have been an employer. One of the fundamental challenges that we are faced with as a country, as a continent, and in fact, various nuances of this problem are faced in different parts of the world, has been how to cure that disconnect between what is actually happening in the classroom. We have a lot of instances where the average young person leaves from school, has a first degree, probably take him 10 years to finally understand or figure out all those principles and conventions of learning at school, actually what it means in the real world. But it cannot be the case that you would have to take this long period. It's about time we start bringing real world challenges into the classrooms. The average young person comes out from school, the parents are already laden with debts that have been incurred over the years to pay their school fees. The parents are asking them, you're now 21, you're 22, you have to go into the corporate world, look for a job, take care of yourself. And these young people are moving from one street to the other, sending their job applications from one employer to the other. Beautiful CVs, good distinctions on their CV. You invite them eventually for an interview. And then you realize that the knowledge they have, they are not able to display or convince an average employer that they are able to apply that knowledge. How about going out there, taking the problems that businesses are faced with and bring that into the classroom? Encourage universities to rethink how they design and deliver their programs from an integrated point of view, from a problem-solving point of view. We want to get a culture where every university understands that employers are not looking for knowledge, they are looking for ability to solve problems. So unless the knowledge that we are imparting to these young people is imparted in a way that demonstrates the three levels of competencies: the foundational competence, the declarative competence, as well as the reflective competence, in terms of the ability to fully appreciate, understand the limitations of the theories, the principles, the conventions, those things that they are expected to grasp and use to solve problems. Unless they are able to understand the limitations of those principles, when they then come out to the corporate world, they might not be able to measure up. That is one strand of the thinking in terms of this case study committee. The other strand of the thinking has been, as Africa, we have to be able to produce young people who can compete at the highest level. The world has become increasingly very globalized. Every business faces some element of competition, from foreign imports and foreign multinationals. We welcome them to the continent. They're investors. We need them to be here. They help us to create jobs. They help us to advance our societies. But we need to be preparing ourselves to be able to serve these multinationals or start our own multinational giants who can go around the world and excel just like all these other multinationals. Now, for that to happen, you need competent graduates who are very savvy technically, very savvy entrepreneurially to serve these multinationals, but also to set up competing multinationals that can also do well for our continent. So I would say that is how we see this competition going forward, and we will do everything possible to make sure that it continues to capture and reflect these ideas. Thank you.